Hello, my name is Paul Miners and welcome back to another one of my productivity training videos. In this video, I'm going to be talking about how to get started with 1Password. Now, 1Password is a tool that I've mentioned many times on this YouTube channel, in my blog, and on my podcast. It's the tool that I use to secure all of my login information that I use to log into the various internet accounts that I have. I actually have another video on my channel where I talk about all the different ways that I use 1Password because it's not just for login details. I actually use it for things like storing credit cards, for just secure notes and information that I would like to keep private. You can also use it for things like software licenses, social security numbers, basically any type of sensitive information that you want to keep secure. Now, before we get into the actual tutorial, I want to talk a little bit about why a tool like 1Password is so important to use. I mean, firstly, I think it just actually makes logging into your different accounts much quicker and easier than simply typing out your passwords. As you'll see later on, I can just click a button and logging in is very quick. So I actually find it actually helps me log into accounts faster. But much more than that, it helps me to be a lot more secure with how I go about my online life. And so some of the common sort of mistakes that people make with 1Passwords, and maybe this is you, is that a lot of people use the same or a really similar password for logging into all of their different accounts. And so what this means is if a company gets compromised, like in the past we've seen companies like Dropbox and LinkedIn get hacked, where lots of user information is suddenly available publicly or on the dark web, what malicious people do is they then get these sets of credentials and they try those credentials on a number of different services like Gmail or different banking services and things. And if you're reusing passwords, that password that was leaked from LinkedIn, for example, may then be the keys to your other accounts, and people can get into your email and access all sorts of private information from there. So using the same or similar passwords for all your accounts is a big no-no. What you really want to do is have a unique password for every service that you use. And with that lies a bit of a challenge, because how do you possibly remember if you've got different passwords for every account? How would you possibly remember them? Well, that's where 1Password comes in. So every time I register for a new service, I create a strong, unique password using 1Password, and it's usually like a 21-digit string of numbers and letters and special characters. So I don't even know the passwords for most of my internet accounts and the services that I use. They're all stored in 1Password, and as you'll see later, when I log in, all I need to do is authenticate or unlock my 1Password account with the one password that I do need to remember, which is the password to unlock my account. And once I'm into 1Password, the Safari extension that I use can then automatically fill in the credentials on the account that I'm logging into. So, needless to say, I highly recommend everyone use a tool like 1Password or something similar in order to be a lot more secure and safe as you go about your online business. So let's look at how to get started with 1Password. I'm going to just set up a brand new account here and talk through all the various steps. So I'm going to register with my name and email. Now, to authenticate my address, I'm just going to paste in the 6-digit code that 1Password sent to me, just so that I can confirm that I have access to this account. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to set my master password. This is literally the 1Password that I need to remember. This is the password that I'm going to use to unlock my 1Password vault. So it really is the only one that I need to remember. I'm going to make sure that this is a password I've never used in the past on a previous account. I'm going to make sure this is completely unique and I'm using it for the first time. Now, at this point, I can choose, if I want to put in my credit card details to pay for my 1Password account. I'm just doing a trial at the moment, so I am just going to create the account and add my card later. But what I would just briefly say on pricing is that I find 1Password very affordable for, as you can see here, $3 a month, about the cost of a cup of coffee. I can secure my digital life. So I kind of consider this like, if you're doing things online and you want to be safe, this to me is just a no-brainer in terms of cost. $3 I think is actually a bargain for such a useful, powerful, and well-designed tool. I already have an account, so I'm just going to, for the purpose of this demo, add my card later. Now, the next thing I need to do is to save my emergency kit. What my emergency kit is it is a record of my 1Password password that I've created. So I'm going to download this PDF. And if I open this now, let's have a look at what this emergency kit looks like. So on here, it's got my email address, the email that I've used to create my account. I'm going to write in here the 1Password that I used to unlock my account. And you can see here there is this 24-digit secret key. Now what this is this is a special key that you need to provide when logging into 1Password from a new device. So what this means is, even if I gave you my 1Password now, like my email and my actual 1Password, you still wouldn't be able to log into my account without this secret key. And so it's basically just another level of security that you have on your account, so that any time you're logging in on a new device, you have to provide this extra layer of authentication. And so once I've written down my 1Password in here, I need to print this out and store it somewhere safe offline. What a lot of people do is they put this in some kind of cloud storage like Dropbox or Google Drive or iCloud Drive, something like that. But you don't want to lose access to this document, because if you lose access to your 1Password account or your computer, you don't want to be trying to get into your Dropbox account, and ironically, maybe you can't even log in because the login details are in 1Password. So you don't want to be locking this document away in some online account which you can't access. So my advice is print out a couple of copies of these and give them to trusted family members or friends. So I've given copies of mine to various family members. They have them at their homes. And so if I ever need to, I can actually get access to my 1Password account via them. And so if anything happens to my house and it burns down, they actually have a copy of my 1Password login details. Now, I've actually shared only the secret key. So again, they actually don't even have my 1Password. They can't log in, but they've got the secret key. I've got the 1Password in my head. And so with those two things combined, my account is completely safe. Now, once you've created your 1Password account, I would recommend following a couple of these recommended steps in here. Firstly, download the 1Password apps on the different devices that you use. So here on the Mac, I would just go to the Mac App Store and I would download 1Password. There's also download links here for Windows and Linux. I've also downloaded it on my iPhone and iPad as well. So whatever device I'm logging in on, I've got the 1Password app ready to go. And 1Password makes it really quick and easy to log into a second device. So what I can do is, once I've got the 1Password app on my phone, I can follow the instructions on the screen here, and I can click here to show a QR code which I can scan with the camera on my phone, and that's going to tell the phone and share the email address and the secret key, so that I don't have to type those things out, that long list of numbers and digits and things. All I'll need to do is put in my 1Password, and then logging into the second device is really quick and easy. The next thing I would do is install the 1Password browser extension for Safari or for Google Chrome. So you can see there's the 1Password for Safari link in here. I can download this and install it into my browser. So you can see I actually already have it up here. And this gives me a really quick and easy way to access my passwords and login details while I'm browsing the web, which, as I will show you shortly, makes it really quick and easy to log into my accounts. So once I've got 1Password set up and installed on my different devices, now we can actually start to create some vaults and store login details in my account. So you can see here, you start with a default vault called Personal. Now a vault is basically, think of it as like a folder, really, for a collection of login details, credit cards, any of the information in that vault is secure and can only be seen by other members of that vault. So what this means is, if you have like a work or a family account like I do, you can have a number of vaults and you can share them with different individuals and people. So let's say I have my own personal vault. Maybe I use this to store information like my own login details for my email, my internet banking, my Twitter account, whatever it might be. I could then have a shared family vault, which is where I share login details for my wife or kids to access. So for things like the Netflix password, or maybe the login details for our power and gas company. Any of those details that I want to share with other members of my family, I can put into that shared vault. As you're getting set up with 1Password, I would also recommend taking a look at some of the settings in the smartphone app and on the desktop app as well. So here I'm on the Mac application. I'm just going to go to my preferences here, and I'll just highlight some of the key preferences that I think are worth paying attention to. So firstly, starting on this general tab, in the menu bar you can see I've added the 1Password Mini. So this lets me easily access my passwords from anywhere in my system. And there are some really handy shortcuts that you can use to lock, show 1Password, or fill in password information. So it's worth kind of remembering those shortcuts because it makes logging in really quick and easy. So the shortcut to pull up the 1Password Mini and find login details is Option Command and it's / on the Mac. And so you can see I've brought up the Mini here, and then I can search for any of my login details like Google, and you can see it's got my email, my password is hidden, and actually it's got a one-time two-factor authentication password down here as well. And so I can just find any login details, any secure nodes, credit card information from anywhere on the Mac without even opening the 1Password app. I can just use the 1Password Mini widget here. And so the next page in the settings, you can control what you actually get to see in the 1Password Mini and the page that it lands on. On the security tab, if you are on a Mac and your Mac supports it, I would recommend turning on and using Touch ID. And if you have the Apple Watch, you can even use the Apple Watch to unlock your 1Password account. So the way that works, let's quickly lock my 1Password. Now, rather than typing in my 1Password, I can click this little icon here. And you can see I can now go and use my fingerprint to unlock with my Mac, or my Apple Watch is actually asking me to double click to unlock, which I can then do. So being a Mac user, it makes using 1Password really kind of satisfying to use because I don't even have to type my 1Password most of the time. I can use my Touch ID or use my watch to unlock the Mac, which is to unlock the account, which is really, really handy. You can also check your auto lock settings here. So I've set 1Password to lock when I go to when the Mac goes to sleep, or if the computer's idle for a period of time. So again, just reviewing these settings is a good idea. You can, on your accounts page, actually be part of multiple accounts. So I'm just part of my Miners Family account here. But if, let's say, I was added to a work account, like another business, they could invite me to their 1Password account, and I could manage access to all the various accounts here on this screen. On the Watchtower tab, this is a really handy feature within 1Password. You can set up different notifications that 1Password can send you for things like checking different websites that have been compromised. So what 1Password does is it goes out to various services online like haveibeenpwned.com to see if any of your login details are publicly available. And if they are, you can then obviously change those passwords. It's also going to alert you if you need to set up two-factor authentication on any websites that support it. And then there are a number of other checks and things here, like it can alert you about vulnerable passwords that are weak or have been around, need to be kind of reset because you've had it for too long. So this Watchtower page is all about prompting you in terms of giving you tips for how to be more secure. On the vault screen, you can show and hide different vaults in the app. I mean, I'm just showing all of them, and I've set my default vault. You can play with the browser extension settings here. Nothing really that I want to point out here. And there's some notification settings that you can play with as well. So go through the smartphone app, go through the desktop app, just make yourself familiar with those settings and customize 1Password to your liking. So let's now look at how to save login details to your 1Password account. And I'm going to start by showing you the process of registering for a website or online service and how we can use that to generate a strong, unique password and save it at the same time. So here I am, I'm signing up to this online store, and I'm going to put in all of my information, my email address. And then when I get to the password field, 1Password is smart enough to recognize that I don't have a credentials for this website yet, and it's suggesting here a strong, unique password that I can use. So I'm going to fill that in. I'll just quickly put in just a random birthday here, and let's create the account. And you can see 1Password is now prompting me to save these credentials to my 1Password account. So from here I can choose which vault do I want to add this to, so maybe just my personal vault. I can give it a name, and I can even add tags if I like. If I'm using a tagging system, I've got a shopping tag, so I can then save that login to my 1Password account. Now let's say I already have an account and I want to update my password. Maybe as part of setting up 1Password, you're going to go back through some of your old accounts and you're going to change them from that password you've been reusing a lot, and you're going to set up a strong, unique password. Well, the first thing you can do is, so in your account page, whatever account it is you're changing, I've navigated here to the section of my account where I can change my password. I actually already have these credentials in 1Password, but for the purpose of this demo, I'm just going to fill in my current password, and then I'm going to change to this suggested password, and it's going to put that into the new fields, and then I can click Save. And you can see what 1Password is now asking me here is, do I want to create a new login item, which in this case I don't. I want to update my existing, and so you can see here I can update my existing login details with the new password that I just generated. So that's something you'll want to do if you are going to go back and change a lot of your old passwords. Simply log into each of your accounts that you're wanting to change and go through those steps to have 1Password suggest a new, strong, unique password for you. And then from there, logging into your accounts is very quick and easy. Like I said at the start, 1Password actually, I think, helps me to save time. And so I can just click in the login field here, and because I haven't unlocked 1Password yet, I can click here to unlock. I can authenticate with Touch ID on my Mac or using my Apple Watch if I'm an Apple user. And now it's suggesting here the Mighty Ape credentials, and I can then just click login. So just with a couple of taps, I can log in. I don't even know what my password is for this account, and I can log in very quickly without having to type anything. Now, just to explain a little bit in terms of how that works, if you're interested, is what 1Password does is it looks at the domain that you're on in order to suggest which credentials to use. So when I was back on this login screen, let's go back quickly and log in again. Because I'm on the mightyape.co.nz domain, you see here this domain, this website is stored here in my 1Password credentials. So when I saved that password previously, like you saw me do, it actually stored the website address in that process. And so when I go back to that website, it basically looks at the domain and goes, oh, right, you're on mightyape.co.nz, so here is the password for that website. And so you can sometimes, gets a bit technical here, but sometimes services will use different subdomains and things for login pages, and so it might be different to the main website URL, but you can check all of those settings and add, if I edit this, I can add extra websites in here if I need to, so that I get my password suggested at the right time. The final thing I wanted to show you in this video is how to set up a one-time password. This is basically an extra layer of security that you can enable, and you've probably come across this before when you see different services text you a code or they ask you to set up two-factor authentication with some kind of authenticator app, which 1Password is. And so you can see here, I've actually, in my Watchtower section of my sidebar, I'm showing all the different services here that offer two-factor authentication, which I don't currently have set up. So here's a service, Thrivecart, that I have an account for. I've logged into my Thrivecart account. I'm here on the settings page, and I can see down the bottom here, they've given me an option to set up two-factor authentication. And the way most of these services work is they provide you with a QR code like this. Now, what I'm going to do is go to the 1Password app on my iPhone. I'm going to log in using Face ID, and then let's go to Thrivecart. Now, if I edit the login details for this account, I have an option here to add a one-time password. And I'm going to click the little QR code icon. It's going to launch the camera. There you go, you can probably see me. I'm going to point this at my screen, and I've now scanned that QR code, and I'm just going to click Done. And so now if I go back to my 1Password account, you can see the one-time password, this 6-digit code, has now appeared in my login details. And this is a one-time code that regenerates every 30 seconds. Now that I've set that up, actually the final thing I need to do is copy this code into this field. And that basically confirms and tells Thrivecart in this case that I've set up and I've enabled two-factor authentication. So let's now log out and let's see that in action when I'm logging in for the first time. So let's sign in, and you can see here it's suggesting Thrivecart, and I'm going to go ahead and sign in, and it's automatically filled in my one-time password. 1Password did that for me. So you really see here what I was saying before about it makes logging in so quick and easy. I'm not sitting here having to wait for a text message. 1Password just fills that in really quickly for me. And so that is a look at how to get set up with 1Password. I've helped a number of friends and family members to set this up before. My advice to people who are getting started with the first time is once you've created your account, just slowly start going through your main internet accounts and the services that you use, and go back and update passwords. If you have reused the same or a similar password in the past, go back and set up unique passwords for all of those accounts. So I would start with things like your email address, your internet banking, things like your Google, Dropbox, iCloud accounts, all those big accounts that our digital lives live on. Start with those, and then you can slowly, as you log into different accounts, just take an extra step to change your password. And very quickly you can start to secure and really improve the security of your online digital life. If you have any questions, please feel free to leave me a comment below. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.